Alright, forgive me if I don't do a welcome back thing, because I don't feel like it right now. Alright, so today I will be talking about Lieutenant Belica. She's one of the casters in the game Paragon. If you don't know what Paragon is, you probably should figure out what that is before you watch this. So, really quickly, I'm going to go over all the stats and then talk a little bit about the gameplay and playstyle and crap. So, to start off, Lieutenant Belica is a caster. I think from now on in the video I'm just going to say Belica because saying Lieutenant every time is kind of annoying. But anyway, so she's a caster. Her types are Intellect and Order, which means she can use all the cards in her deck for those two things, in addition to all the generic things. On the website, she's rated as at a 2 for basic attack, 7 for ability attack, durability of 4, and mobility of 2. Now keep in mind that those are generated off abilities as well as just normal da-di-da basic damage and movability. So when you see that mobility's super low, that's because she doesn't have any abilities that increases her mobility, or other things like that. And that's why attack is so high for the attack ability attack. Ugh. Because she doesn't have any mobility abilities. Mobility ability, that sounds like a rap. Okay, I'm done. So because she doesn't have any mobility boosting abilities, she's able to have more attack abilities, which boosts her thing. That it's not always perfect, and it just anyway. Moving on from that, her primary attack, which is right mouse button, just to make sure we're on the same page here, is called Burst Fire. It does a base of 35 energy damage at level 1. I have not figured out what the damage multiplier is yet per level, but I do know that as you level up, you will increase damage to that without having to use cards. I would always recommend using cards to boost your damage, but just be aware that as you level up, without the card buff damage, that number will go up. So this is mostly, yeah, anyway. One thing to note about this though is that it has a very slow rate of fire, so it's not going to be the greatest. It's kind of like I'm going to use this while I'm waiting for recharges or between abilities. Speaking of abilities, her primary ability, this is left mouse button, is called Void Bomb. It does 80 damage of AoE energy damage, plus 40 damage per level. So every time you level it up, it'll get a 40 damage buff. It has a 2.25 second fuse, so this is a bomb that she can place down, and then for every enemy hit by the damage from this, it restores 10 plus 1 per level mana per enemy hit. Okay. So for every enemy she hits, she gets 10 mana back, and then that number gets plus 1 added for every level. Just to make sure I'm explaining this thoroughly. I'm doing a good job here, I hope. Then her secondary ability, Q, is Seismic Assault, which does like a lane damage hallway type thing. It does 50 base damage plus 25 per level, energy damage. It stuns for 1 second and gets 0.1 seconds added on for every level, and then it knocks up enemies. They really need to come up with a better term for this, because yeah, but basically what it does is it suspends enemies in the air for a short period of time, which can be very helpful, as I'm sure you can probably see in maybe at least one, hopefully at least one of my clips that I'm showing in the background here. Anyway, her tertiary ability, Void Drone, that's E, is a placeable thing, which means it can be destroyed. But what it does is it drains 2 mana per second from players in range, and that does not get upgraded as the level does. It deals 80 damage per level when an enemy uses an ability inside the radius or the range, the area covered by the drone. And then that gets plus 50 damage per each level. And this whole ensemble lasts 20 seconds unless it's destroyed, which it quite often is. And then her ultimate ability, which is the letter R on the keyboard, is called Neural Disruptor, and it does 125 base damage. This is all energy damage. I don't think she has a single physical damage thing in here. And then it gets a 50 damage plus for each level. And then it also does an additional 0.75 energy damage for every point of mana that the target is down. So like, for example, if the target had 50 mana as their max, and they had 49 mana when they got hit with this, it would do the base damage, which is the 125 plus 50 per level, plus 0.75 because she was down one thing. So if she was down 2, it'd do an extra 1.5 damage. So that is huge, amazingly good when stacked with the Void Drone, because it drains the mana, and then you can use that. So for every second, you're basically adding an extra 1.5 damage to your ultimate for when the enemy's inside that area. That damage does also get buffed per level, so it starts out as 0.75, but for every level it gets added 0.25 onto that. And that is pretty much all the abilities right there. And I'm only at 6.5 minutes. Wow, I'm doing good here. So now, what is she effective against? Everyone, if played well. And what is she ineffective against? Everyone, if played poorly. The thing with Paragon is that there's not really like a rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Like, yes, certain people tend to win in certain fights, but if you have a good player, it doesn't matter who the characters are, the good player's going to win pretty much every time. You just have to know the strengths and find a playstyle that works well for you, and then you can win pretty much every fight. Yeah, that's just the honest truth there. But compared to other heroes, she's very effective against minions. She can take out an entire group once she's max level with just 2 abilities, which takes all of, like, I don't know, 3 seconds. And then she tends to do poorly against melee heroes, just due to the nature of her damage dealing. Granted, this doesn't mean that, like, you can't suck it up with the minions, or you can't totally wreck against the melee heroes, but that's just kind of the general, that's what it is. Keep in mind that, like, this isn't a guide on how to use her, this is just kind of an introduction to her. I would like to do guides and stuff, but I'm not sure how I would do that yet. But if you have any questions about certain play styles or certain things that you're not sure how well it would work, or you want to see it happen but don't want to try it yourself to hurt your stats, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm more than happy to try stupid stuff and do experimenting and, like, figure stuff out. So yeah, go ahead and comment that crap below, except it's not crap because, ugh. Comment your stuff below. Go ahead and hit the like button if you like this, dislike it if you disliked it. If there's a reason you disliked it, please go ahead and leave a comment down below as well, just because I'm always trying to improve, and it's very helpful to have feedback. Feedback is also welcome in the comments, even if you liked it. Go ahead and tell me what I did well. And with all that said, I will see you guys all later. Peace out.
Try to fight alone, 'cause sometimes we just don't know that we can do anything together if we just try. And as long as we have our backs, whenever our foes can buy.